Who are vulnerable groups? These are the people who, under normal conditions, get sicker than the rest of us, such as people living with non-communicable diseases like high blood pressure, diabetes, chronic respiratory illnesses like asthma and COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, as well as those of us who are overweight or obese, as well as those of us who may be living with cancers. We are the people who, on the treadmill of life, if it's kind of increases in speed too much, we fall off that treadmill because we don't have enough reserve. And usually that reserve relates to your cardiovascular system. So chronic vulnerable people tend to be people who have some kind of cardiovascular compromise or whose immune systems may not respond adequately, such as people on various medications for cancer. They're especially at risk of any viral infection. Even the common cold, for instance, can make them very ill. So people who are not vulnerable have the additional responsibility, if you're going to be around vulnerable people, which for all intents and purposes also includes elderly people, whether they are known to have chronic conditions or not, we should take extra precautions. Washing your hands, wearing a mask, not going to visit granny if you know that you're sick, and of course not encouraging large gatherings that involve elderly people, because then you have several people who could become very ill, and it's a problem. Paired with vulnerable people comes a vulnerable health system. Let's talk about the impact this has on the health system, as more and more people who are vulnerable have to go to the hospital for a common cold or having dengue. This has an impact. This affects us as a society. This backs up the A&E departments. It causes people who may have other conditions to have to wait much longer. It puts the medical team also on high speed as well, dealing with all these things. And this is happening all at a time when, as I said, there's a lot of healthcare provider fatigue as well. So all these things create a perfect storm where you have a vulnerable population, you have seasonal viruses, and you have a health system that is relatively fatigued.